All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special local band episode of the BCP. We've been doing a lot of wrestling here right now. We are back to the music. I'm so excited to welcome these guys to the show. This is an amalgamation of a lot of all-star bands we've seen in the scene over the years. Names like Johnny B Morbid, Summer's End, Swashbuckle, and many, many more. Guys, please welcome to the show Carmen, Josh, and Kyle, Atomic Werewolf. What's up, guys? How are you?
What's up, Rob?
Hello, Rob. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Nice to meet some of you guys for the first time. Carmen, good to see you again. Guys,
man, you too.
Foremost, how's everyone doing? Everyone staying healthy over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, things are pretty much back to normal for me.
Yeah, I'm back at work. I've been back since May, just wearing a lot of masks all the time.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm not back to work yet. I haven't been back to my office since March.
Wow.
You getting that juicy unemployment, though?
No, I'm working from home.
Oh,
okay.
True.
Yeah, I got you guys. Well, thank you guys so much for a few minutes. It's an honor to talk to you. First and foremost, I was talking to Carmen about this a little bit, and we were kind of talking off air about this a little bit, but I did notice the album art, which really stood out to me. I remember seeing it years ago, and I really thought it was cool. I may have even reached out to the artist at one point because I liked it so much, if I remember correctly. But tell us a little bit about this reboot or origin story, or how this band kind of started and why we're seeing it now. Tell us kind of the adventure.
What is the origin story of the name itself? Do you remember?
I know.
I don't remember.
Carmen's the only one that knows.
No, but Kyle, you were probably there, but you don't remember because of what we were doing. This was probably in late 2007 or early 2008.
Yeah.
A bunch of us were hanging out at our friend Matt's house, who is in a band called Coffin Dust currently. And we were just kind of hanging out, drinking, and we were watching Salute Your Shorts on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
It was a DVD I'd picked up.
As you do.
At a horror convention. And so it was like really horrible quality, just bootleg Salute Your Shorts. And we were just like drunk and watching it. And there's this episode where it's like Sponge and Donkey Lips enter like some wrestling competition or something, and like the winner gets a lobster dinner or something, and they're like pitching it to everybody else. And Danny Cooksey, who played Bobby Budnick,
Sure,
was just like, he kind of makes a comment, and he's like, the only time that wrestling is cool is when you dress up like Sergeant Slaughter and body slam the Atomic Werewolf. And Matt and I had already been talking about doing something collaborative, and we just kind of looked at each other in our drunken stupor, and we're just like, why don't we just call it that? Why don't we just call the side project Atomic Werewolf? And he's like, all right. But this was 12 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So fast forward to 2015 when we did the Kickstarter for this. It's kind of, I blame it on Josh, because
Right. Me too.
I do. I really do. I mean, I spearheaded everything, but the spark was Josh. I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for him bothering me. I guess he was like going through creative withdrawals. I don't know. And I was like his counselor. I don't really know how to explain it. But
Keep going. It's good.
He hadn't been in a band for like, I don't know, 10 years. Right, Josh?
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah. And he's like, I want to do something again. Let's do something. And we were just trying to think of a name of what the hell this thing was going to be. And I was like, well, why don't we just, I was like, this is a thing I did one time with this other dude. You want to just use that name? And he was okay with it. And no one else really seemed to care. So we just used the same name for, and just kind of brought it back in a way, I guess.
And
Right.
anytime you do something going forward and you just can't think of a name, just put everything under Atomic Werewolf.
That's what I'm saying. It's great. It just works. It's like It's like prestige worldwide. It's just
Nice.
whatever you need it to be is what.
Yeah, we can start screening the rest of the Salute Your Shorts back catalog for other good names for things.
Or if you're an Other Guys fan, Lendl Global, wearing everything. It's like that.
Desk Pop. Desk Pop is the hardcore band.
I love the Salute Your Shorts callback. That's awesome. But I just wonder about this, like why, and I'm in a lot of projects, a lot of different bands, drum lines, everything. And that's well, I'm no longer associated with that in any way. But that's a story for another time. I appreciate the shameless plug. We're all about it here. But yes, I will say this, like, you guys are no strangers to having success in your different projects. Why do we kind of feel this? I wouldn't say urge, but this creative process to venture into other things, and why pull the trigger on it now?
Oh man, somebody else want to start this?
So when you have a certain project established, the project itself has its own kind of identity, like a genre identity. So you can't play a bunch of like weirdo metal songs under like Johnny B Morbid heading. You need something else for it, and it didn't exist yet. So we went back and pulled up this name to get a new project going. And the idea was to have a collaboration between a lot of other NJ scene bands, just from people we knew around, to get just something new out there. I like to think of it as the worst collaboration project of all time, because there's actually no collaboration at all in any of the songs. Everybody was basically tasked with writing 1 or 2 songs on their own, and then we came together and just recorded them all. There's not as much of like a swing in the genres of each songs on the album, given that background. It actually does kind of have a cohesive flavor to it somehow, but that was the origin of each of the songs. There's nobody contributed to anyone else's songs besides lyrics and like vocal patterns.
Yeah, the lyrics were 100%. I mean, I wrote my songs mostly, but I mean, we wrote a lot.
That's
wrote
true.
a lot together.
Yeah, the lyrics are collaborative. The actual songs were totally 100% put together by each like separate person.
So it's kind of like a pizza pie, right? But each slice is a different one, but it's still a pizza pie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy. Yeah.
So it's like there's a slice of mushroom, there's chicken parm, there's
who's the meat lover's slice?
But it's still a pizza. But but vocally it's, oh my god, like, I don't think there's one song that has only one vocalist on it. Oh, maybe no. Josh might be the only one who did
one thing.
Wolfman's Got Mars.
Yeah.
But other than that, every single song on the album has multiple vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
We were like the Wu-Tang of thrash.
Wow. I got you. You guys touched on this a little bit already. And this is such like a cool project. It's an amalgamation of all these different things. Tell us a little bit about the writing process. How does this work? Is it someone brings a riff to the table? Is it, you have a lot of vocalists. Does someone bring the lyrics to the table?
We actually had a hard time like hammering out the lyrics towards the end.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
That's what took.
They are the worst.
That's what took the longest.
A lot of it came at like in the studio. They're just bouncing ideas off of each other, and they're like, "Fuck it, let's write a song about Australian werewolf."
Yeah, that was. I mean, we were really, really out of ideas. We were like in a drought.
Yeah,
and
we would.
I don't know. Somebody, it might have been Pat, who played bass on the album. He said something like "Werewolf Dundee," and it's just about an Australian werewolf. And we were just like, "Well, we have nothing else, so okay."
Yeah. I think the first thing Pat came up with was Kyle's song. When Len's house. He was all like, "Let's make this about like ancient riffs."
Oh yeah.
Like, I'll take this one over. Yeah.
Yeah, he that was the first set of lyrics that I think were written. I'm not exactly sure why, but he was so excited about that song specifically that he programmed all the drums to it initially. He took it upon himself to do this. He took it upon himself to program all the drums for it, and then also write the lyrics and do the vocal patterns for it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a big part of it, and I wish he were here to do more things like this. But he's kind of just I think he's more of like a behind the curtain kind of guy. He doesn't really like he didn't want to be in the music video. He didn't, he didn't want to do the interviews and stuff, and that's fine. I wish he did, because he was a big part creatively. I'm not gonna shortchange him. He was a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that, though. I totally get that. Like, I'm being behind the kit. That's like my office.
Yeah.
I'm working and all that, and playing with passion, putting on the visuals in the show. But I actually hate being in front of the camera, even though we're going to be streaming this. Like, I had a podcast, but this is the way of the world now. YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. You got to be on camera for a lot of that stuff, man. But sure. I get it, man. I'm all about that behind the curtain stuff, behind the scenes. That's where a lot of the work goes in. So I totally respect that. Moving forward, let's give everyone a little bit of a taste here, a little bit of this flavor that is Atomic Werewolf. We're going to feature this music video, guys. Obviously, strong language coming ahead for this one. What a great title. All Your Mosh Are Belong to Us. Obviously, kind of a reference to the old NES throwback there. Tell us a little bit about this song, and then tell us a little bit about the kind of quarantine-style video you guys had.
This is one of the tunes that I wrote. So I wrote the music for it. I guess I wrote most of the words.
Yeah, the idea of the title was your idea from a while ago.
Oh yeah, dude, that was from Rob, Kyle and I were in a band called Burnt to Ashes when we were in high school,
mm-hmm.
and we would like have these images online.
It was like Cats.
Yeah,
that's the guy from that.
Or like a moose or something. And I don't know. We would just like post weird stuff on our page, and I don't even know what it was at the time. What was around? Pure volume, and like Ayuma,
MySpace,
and maybe MySpace. But we used to have a thing that said like all your mosh are belong to us, and this goes back to like 2004. And,
yeah. From that original, like one of the first memes of all time, with the Japanese translation from that. I don't remember what game it is.
I'm trying to remember.
It's like an weird
R-type
cares
game.
About. The meme is bigger than the game. It's a weird thing like that. But we adopted it and we would use it. And we changed it to just all your mosh are belong to us. So we were in like a metalcore band and whatever. But we never used it for anything. It was never a song.
Mm-hmm.
And so we brought it back. I don't know. But,
it's just like the name.
But musically, I'm a huge power metal fan, so I wanted to try and tap into that and make it as melodic as possible and fast as well.
Totally. I dig it a lot. And, you mentioned power metal. I was really getting into it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with bands like Power Glove. They do a lot of like the video game metal. It's kind of, I kind of hints of that. And I appreciate it, obviously, with the song title and that tied in. But without further ado, let's give everyone a little taste here, a little sneak preview. And guys, check it out right now. Atomic Werewolf, All Your Mosh Are Belong to Us.
Just a taste
All right, guys, that was All Your Mosh Are Belong to Us by Atomic Werewolf. And guys, we touched on this a little bit. We talked about the songwriting process. I want to talk a little bit about the recording process. You guys mentioned programming drums. Do you guys do live drums as well? Do you guys start with drums, bass, guitar, vocals? What's the process like?
All the drums on the album are live drums. Pat initially programmed the drums for the one song that we were talking about because I wasn't able to do it on the demo, so it was just like the guitar riffs at first, and then that came later because Paul came down for one session where he basically banged out like 10 of the 12 songs on the album.
Well,
most
he banged out everything he could physically perform in one day.
Right.
There were just a few little things that were a little out of his wheelhouse, and then which led to it being a bigger collaboration than it had intended to be. There's actually 3 drummers on the album, but Paul he's from a band called Suburban Scum. I don't know if you remember a band called The Banner. He was in The Banner. Gotham
Road.
He played with like Michael Graves from the Misfits and stuff. And then the other 2 drummers on the album, the one dude, Eric Brown.
Yeah.
What is he in again? He's in like actual like legitimate.
He's in. I'm pretty sure the band he's in is Veil of Nath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also Swashbuckle. But he also did the music for a game that came out last year called The Messenger, which is like a old school Ninja Gaiden thing that you can buy on like PSN, and it's like a widely released thing. So, and
that's awesome.
The music on it actually rips. He's very, very good at that.
And then the third drummer, I can't think of his name right now, but he's in a band called Descent.
Yeah.
With the engineer of the album, actually.
Yeah. Glenn. Yeah, Pat had those 2 guys come in and fill in the gaps way towards the end of the process after everything else was already done.
Yeah.
So how many sessions overall do you think we had for this?
Well, you guys
10?
Probably.
Yeah, spaced out. It was probably about 12 maybe.
Yeah.
12 or 13 days in there.
Yeah, studio time spaced out by sometimes a year in between.
No, really. It was over the course of 3 years because we started. First of all, the Kickstarter was in 2015. Then the first session wasn't until 2016, and then the last session was in 2019, and now it's coming out this year.
What's really funny about that is that all of the music was done very early. By the beginning probably of 2017, all of the music was done.
Yes.
And then it took that long to get the lyrics and the vocals together after that.
And then mixed.
Yeah, and then mixed.
It just, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't know why it took so long.
Part of the reason is because we would show up to the lyric or the vocal sessions and be like, you guys got lyrics for the songs? And everybody's like, no. So all of us are just sitting around in the studio, scrambling to write just whatever nonsense we can think of that makes sense on the theme of the band, and then just get it down. Remember the one song, the American Werewolf song, where Pat just he was so mad when he did the vocals for that. He was legitimately angry at everybody because we were so disorganized at that point. He just grabbed the notepad with what was on there and just went in and just busted it out in one take almost.
I remember that. I also remember everybody except for me. Well, maybe not you guys, but I know Len, who's the engineer, and Pat, they wanted to scrap the one guy's song, Justin, from Beyond the Flesh. We were going to scrap his song because, I don't know, for whatever reason, some people didn't think it fit, or it was too...
It's very poppy.
Yeah, and I was like, I was like, just hold on. I was like, I'll take care of it. And I wrote the lyrics for it the night before the vocal tracking. And
You're seeing a theme here with the lyrics.
yeah. I'd like to say I saved it. I think I don't know. It sounds like Diet Kill Switch. It's not that bad. It's not.
No, it's not bad. It's a perfect song to be like track number 6 on the album.
Right in the
middle there to fatten it up.
Split it up. Little breather.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, like I keep saying, you're no stranger to success in this business that oftentimes can be very, very thankless. Let's be honest. What's kind of the goals for this project moving forward?
Oh man, to bury it.
That's a good question. What are the goals for this project going forward?
I mean, I would do it again, but if we ever did it again, I would only do digital. I don't ever want to deal with vinyl or CDs or shipping and handling. I'm actually doing that this weekend. I don't know when this is going to air, so it won't be relevant. But like, I have to lock myself in the basement basically, and I got to pack all these things up and make sure I don't fuck up people's orders. Because Josh is in Pensacola and can't help me.
Hey, give me another week, I'll be up there.
And Kyle's reopening the first Toys R Us in Paramus tomorrow, so he can't help me.
Yeah.
So, well, the big takeaway I'm getting is Toys R Us is back, but also,
hot tip.
But also, guys, let's rewind and throw it back a little bit. You have so many moving pieces or so many, parts to this recipe that makes this band. Tell us a little bit about, not to be cliche here, but like the influences that you guys had musically and how you learned to play and all that good stuff. Let's start with Kyle.
So if you want to go way, way back, I've been a fan of, I learned to play guitar when I was 12 or 13 years old from my uncle, and very quickly I moved on from like nu metal stuff at the time to I heard Yngwie Malmsteen play guitar for the first time, and that just really blew my mind. Like, I didn't understand that it was possible to be that good at something. And from there I ended up finding like Slayer, and then from Slayer I ended up finding Napalm Death, and Napalm Death was the first like extreme air quotes extreme metal band that I've ever listened to, and that kind of really opened the door to everything that came after it, because mostly I listened to a lot of death metal, listened to a lot of black metal stuff, mostly towards that end. But I also have I listen a lot for people who are good at guitar, and it kind of bums me out that there's a lot of really catchy, a lot of really great black metal stuff, but nobody plays like lead guitar in any of those bands. So I feel like there's a void that can be filled in that genre overall, but that's just something that I think about in my own head. I don't know if that's ever going to turn into anything, but we'll see. Specifically coming to writing songs for this project, Carmen gave me the assignment of writing 2 songs for it, and I specifically set out for one song to rip off a band called Carnal Forge, which was like an early mid 2000s Swedish thrash band. And then the second song I specifically sent out to rip off Abath. That's like the guy from Immortal, the black metal band. His style of like solo project with like kind of like black metal riffs, but kind of like a rock and roll, like galloping feel to it. So that's how I started both of those songs. I specifically had the idea to rip off the styles of these two different groups, and I feel like I did a pretty good job of ripping them off.
Pretty much, I'd say you pretty much nailed exactly what you set out to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, since Kyle went all the way back, I'll go back to when I first started. But I was in a band called Blood Runs Cold. maybe 2000, 2001. That only lasted a couple years, and then the whole Summer's End thing was supposed to be a side project. Going off of that, because I was going down to Maryland every couple weeks or whatever, and that's where those guys were out of. So we were gonna do it like an inflamish kind of Swedish metal band. That's what the goal was. But in Blood Runs Cold, a lot of that influence in that band at that time was like Hatebreed, Candiria, Vision of Disorder, Sick of It All, stuff like that is what it started out to be, and then it moved into more like a Convergence kind of band later on. But yeah, and then after that band more or less broke up or just went away, then Summer's End became my full-time thing for like 3 years after that, and then that's pretty much when it stopped after that. And I dabbled in other things too, but yeah, I guess vocally, originally, it was probably Vision of Disorder that influenced me screaming wise. I tried to do the Carly from Candiria vocals when I first started, but that fucked my throat up a lot, trying to like the raspiness of it. So I guess that's really what stuck, and I can't do the yelling as good as Carmen can. So Sick of It All was out of it. But yeah, things like that. But yeah, I would say Tim from VOD was probably my biggest original vocalist screaming wise.
Gotcha, man. That's interesting. And Carmen, I'll throw it to you, man. A guy who's been synonymous with the scene for years and years and years. I go to the mall and my friend's dating so and so, or I know Carmen, or yada yada, man. So tell us how it all began for you, man.
That's funny. Well, for Josh, I don't think I'm that great at the hardcore yelling. My dad said I sound like Sam Kinison.
I mean, isn't that exactly the goal? Isn't that what you're supposed to be?
I mean, I think it's a compliment. That's great.
Yeah.
Man, I started as a drummer long time ago, and I don't know. You're probably familiar with like Santino from Scarlet Carson.
Sure.
So my first band was with him. He was the
Really?
singer. Yeah, we were called Cultivate the Grave, and that was like 2002. That was like my first start when I was like first got my feet wet. I played my first real gig at the Pony when I was 15, and we opened for Divinity Destroyed, and then like the year after, I started teaching myself bass, and I played in like a pop punk band. I was playing bass and doing some vocals here and there, and that's kind of when I started singing. And I had fronted a band as a death metal vocalist around that same time. And that was when I kind of started getting versed in being like a front man and also doing that vocal style. So I kind of, I guess, taught myself to sing mostly. I taught myself how to play bass, and I taught myself how to play guitar. I think I'm okay at everything, but I'm certainly not like a virtuoso at any one thing at all. Like not even close. Vocally, I'm somewhere between William Hung and Freddie Mercury, I would say.
Yeah.
Like right in that sweet spot.
Well,
but like,
oh my god.
But influence wise, I was, I guess, fortunate enough to be raised by two metalheads. So quite literally, my entire life, I was surrounded by nothing but metal and hard rock. I mean, from the time I was, born, Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Pantera, Exodus, all this stuff, all the time. Back in the day, Q104.3 was like a hard rock, like metal station. kinda. And my mom would keep that shit on all the time, and she would have these cassette tapes, and like we'd listen to like Accept, Fabulous Disaster by Exodus. That was another album that was on all the time. Cowboys from Hell. So I had no choice but to become a metalhead. You know, it was all I knew.
That's actually really interesting, because that's basically the exact opposite of my early life. Not only did my parents and no one in my family like metal, they didn't even really like enjoy music as a thing to be enjoyed. So as somebody who, at this point, music and sound and everything has literally defined every aspect of my life, from career to hobbies to this and that. My family is like barely passingly aware of music just as a thing. Like my dad had ZZ Top CD. That was basically it.
That's crazy.
That's it. So I don't know how it happens for me. It's weird.
First song I learned was a ZZ Top, man. So there you go.
Awesome.
I mean, ZZ Top rules. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that's just the only CD that he had.
That's funny.
And he like barely didn't even listen to it. I listened to it more than he did.
That's
so. I guess I grew up on like entry level mainstream metal. I guess Metallica, just stuff like that. And then my what I call my gateway drug was probably Slipknot. When I was in like middle school. My first concert was Ozfest '99. I didn't know what the hell was going on when they were on stage, and I didn't care because I was like a little punk ass kid, elitist, like idiot. So I was like, I don't know what that is. I just want to see Black Sabbath. Jeez. But then I saw Slipknot again at Tattoo the Earth a year after, and my mom got me the cassette, and on the cassette I could make it out now. I could hear and understand what was going on, because live, when you see 9 guys jumping around and you can't make anything out, there's a DJ and a sampler, and like you're like, what is this? And why are there 9 people? What? And you just couldn't make it out. It wasn't audible. You couldn't hear all the intricacies of what the hell was going on. It was stupid to me. But then I heard it on the cassette, and I was like, okay, I get it now. I can hear what's going on, and this is weird, and I've never heard anything like it. And then from Slipknot, like that's what led me into, discovering death metal and like bands like Morbid Angel and God Dethroned. Any kind of weird, heavy artwork I would see at like Warehouse Music or Sam Goody or whatever it might have been at the time. I would just buy these CDs based on the artwork and discover.
Yeah, the artwork challenge. Artwork challenge.
And that's how I found a lot of power metal too. Crazy bands like Falconer. Yeah.
The CD has 2 dragons fighting on it. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
What does it sound like? I don't know. I'm gonna find out though.
Yeah, love it. It was a good time. Like the early days, discovering music. I remember the first time I heard blast beats. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, why is he hitting everything at once? This is stupid. And that was Morbid Angel. It was Gateways to Annihilation. First time I ever heard a blast beat. And I was like, I didn't know it was called a blast beat. I was like, what is happening? I was like,
Essential. Essential album.
That's so
the first time I heard power metal, I didn't know it was called power metal. I used to refer to it with Kyle. We used to just call it Quest metal.
Quest metal.
And then someone along the way, when the internet started to evolve, Blind Guardian or whoever, with these bands were coming up as power metal bands. And I was like, oh, that's not as fun of a name, but oh well.
You kind of touched on this a little bit, but you said you saw like these bands on stage. Why is there so many moving pieces? What's going on there? This is craziness. And then you heard the cassette or CD, whatever it was at the time. Yeah. Do you guys plan on doing a lot of performing out? I mean, hypothetically, say this COVID thing isn't going on, like take that out of the equation, and obviously we hope everyone's healthy and staying safe and all that stuff. But hypothetically, if we weren't dealing with this thing now, would this be something where you guys are playing the Asbury venues, playing the New Jersey venues?
I feel like I'm past that point of my life.
I'm getting the
Um,
vibe from you guys. Yeah.
I'm happy to do like studio type projects, but the idea of playing a show at like the Saint or whatever does not excite me at this current moment in my life.
Sure.
I'm sorry to say.
I would do it one time. If it was Atomic Werewolf, I would do it one time. I certainly would not make it a thing. I think it would be a nice little treat. I think it would be a fun night, for everyone to get together. Basically, just use it as an excuse for us all to see each other and just hang out and play some music and maybe make like $20 each or something.
Yeah, well, let me put it this way: if every show could be like the CD release show for Fall the Cicada at the Pony, remember that show?
Yeah.
If every show could be like that, then yeah, definitely. But
yeah, man, that was.
But when you're playing the Brighton bar to like 20 people and like that's not cool. It doesn't feel good when that happens.
Yeah, when you're past 30 and you're just, unless it's a hobby and you're having fun, that's cool. I was never the type though. For me, it's like it's all or nothing. It was never a hobby for me. It was like a lifestyle. It's the only thing I ever wanted to do. So when it didn't, when I guess Johnny B Morbid didn't get as far as I wanted it to, I tapped out at 30 years old. I always said when I turned 30, I'm fucking done. There's nothing cool about, a band that didn't quite make it. And that band is, those guys are 50 years old and they're still fucking doing it. And it's just like, man, unless it's for fun. But if in your mind you're still delusional and think something's gonna happen once you're past your prime, that's fucking embarrassing. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I can't say, and I didn't want to be that. So I was like, I'm done going out on a high note like Seinfeld. But like Kyle said, to do studio projects and stuff, anytime. I'll do that shit till I'm dead. I don't give a fuck. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do it. I would do it once, like Carmen said, just for the, for a Big Mac, Big Mac meal or something. But just more or less to get together and just hang out and shoot the shit, since all I'm, around all the time is 2 kids, 8 and 5. So it would be nice to get out around people my own age, to hang out for a couple hours and just chill.
It would be fun. It would be fun to do it one time, and I think if we did it one time, I think people would care enough to see it one time. But then I would not push our luck. I would not push it. It would be kind of like a, it's now or never kind of thing. Shit or get off the pot. Either come see us or never ever see us.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Like, I've seen, and been part of projects where, the game plan wasn't there. It's very interesting, and I want to throw it to you guys. I ask every band I have on the show this question. You guys can keep it politically correct. I have a feeling you're not going to, or you can keep it very, very real. Your just kind of thoughts on the scene, on our local scene. Is it oversaturated? Dealing with promoters, pay to play, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys have any thoughts you want to share on that?
What is it? I mean, I can certainly comment on what it was like when we were doing it all the time. I don't know what it's like now.
Right.
I think that things have changed a lot since, the mid 2000s when we were like really hitting the bricks and playing a lot of shows and stuff. We were still back then. Still, the goal was to like get a label, right? And get a label and get signed, get your stuff out there in like, metal magazines and have all this promotion and stuff. And, but things have really moved online since then. I think pay to play, having to sell tickets is, it really sucks.
Yeah.
And I wish promoters wouldn't do it. It's really like the promoter's job to get people to come and the band's job to be good and put on a good show. So yeah,
I did that a few times. I hated it. Pay to play.
We did that.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated having to sell tickets for everything, especially I remember with Summer's End, we got fucked over big time. We played. We were supposed to open for what was it? Shadows Fall, Chimera. Anyway, there was four bands on the tour. Shadows Fall was supposed to be the headliner, and they bitched and bitched and bitched and wanted to go on because it was getting late. So we ended up going on after Shadows Fall.
Oh yeah, that's
Nobody was
the
there.
best.
No one was there. Everyone left after Shadows Fall, and it was like done. But yeah, it was Chimera, Shadows Fall, and two other bands at the time. And I forget the whole story because my brain is garbage. But I do remember going on after Shadows Fall, and there was like 10 people, and two of them were John, the guitar player's mom and dad. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I don't miss about shows. But
I've heard a lot of stories like that, very similar stories to that as well. Carmen, thoughts?
It's weird for me because I can see it from both sides. I get it. Like, I spent well, in particular, when a touring band is coming through, right, and they have a guarantee, and then it's, for some reason, it's the 4 or 5 local bands. It's their job to sell tickets so that the touring band can like have their guarantee for some strange reason. It's like, I understand it. I don't like it. And my philosophy was, I had no pride whatsoever whenever I was booking stuff, whether it was like, a tour or just a local show. I never gave a shit. It was just my goal to get the name out there, period, end of story. Johnny B Morbid, as far as bookings go, hey, you want to play Starland Ballroom? Yeah. What do I have to do? You have to sell 200 tickets. Okay. Hey, do you want to play Stone Pony? Yeah. What do I have to do? You have to sell 200 tickets. Okay.
yeah, I remember that. I remember even in Birth to Ashes, we would like buy out some of the tickets to meet the promoter's goal.
When we were stupid kids, but in
when we were teenagers.
In Johnny B Morbid, we had already gotten our feet wet. We already knew what we were doing, and we were still young, but we had been already doing it for a few years. So we never bought our own anything in Johnny B Morbid, that's for sure. But we did it all, and we hustled, man. I mean, those gigs we got, we didn't get them easy, and we always earned our keep for sure. It's weird, the pay-to-play thing. A lot of it's easy to say, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, okay, fuck that. And then what? Play at the fucking meat locker in a basement with no ventilation? Go fuck yourself. Like, whatever. Okay, cool. You can be prideful and sweat to death in front of 10 people. Have a good time. And we've played the meat locker. We played everywhere, dude. Everywhere. We did it all. Connections.
I hated that fucking place.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, it was just like, do it all.
What's your least favorite New Jersey local venue to play?
Oh boy.
Oh man.
A lot of people listen to the show, just so you guys know.
Well, I'll go first because mine doesn't exist anymore. So
okay.
It was the Bloomfield Ave Cafe.
I remember that place.
That was the hottest I've ever been in my entire life. Was that show with it was with the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza with Concubine.
It's awesome.
Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza was like a weirdo noise band that had a little bit of notoriety for a while just because of the name, pretty much. They were cool dudes, but
that name is amazing.
It's a good name.
So I'll just put it this way before we wrap up, guys. And again, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. You guys said, you don't see yourselves really doing like going out there and performing and all that. We talked about goals a little bit. What does the future hold for this project? Is it just more music videos? Is it more, you said you're kind of sticking to more of the digital realm. What's in store?
Oh,
I would do it again.
You know what?
Like studio
Go ahead,
wise.
Kyle.
I just had this thought. So the way video games are structured now is you have the main release, and then you have some DLC that comes.
I like it.
Maybe there can be some Atomic Werewolf DLC, like one song that comes out in 2 months, and then like another song that comes out 3 months later.
Ooh, the self-titled expansion pack.
Expansion pack.
Love it. That's perfect.
The instrumental version of the album, and then the version
Oh
of
yeah.
then there's a version of the album with just Kyle on vocals, a version of the album with just Josh on vocals.
It's the first 2 songs, but backwards.
We do like MIDI versions.
Yes.
Then we'll release it with like alternate artwork.
Yes. That's awesome. That's actually a really great answer. Go ahead.
I guess on a serious note, I would do it again. I would play it live one time, and I would do another album if it were only digital, because then there's very little to no overhead. All you have to do is, honestly, we'd probably only really have to pay for drum tracking, and one of us could mix it somehow, somewhere. I mean, my brother has all that stuff. I mean, honestly, we could do it again, and we would just have to pay for artwork and like drum tracking. That'd be it.
Yeah, I mean, I very much enjoyed the studio experience that we had with Len. He did a great job. It was just, we were just not organized enough in the last year and a half. That was like the real hang up.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Long story short, I guess we would do it again. I really highly doubt it would be the same exact lineup again. I don't think we could rope in every single person who contributed the first time around, but it could just be one of those revolving door kind of projects where it just all falls under the umbrella of Atomic Werewolf, and it's like whoever wants to do it is, just like revamp the lineup.
Submit a song.
Right.
Take submissions.
Yeah. That's cool. You got a song, you don't have a band, Atomic Werewolf.
Yeah, there it is.
Good. Keep that in mind, guys. That's awesome. That's really cool. I like this. This is something different, and also sort of fresh in a way. I like this kind of all-star thing you guys got going here. I wish you guys nothing but the best of success moving forward, especially in this crazy business. Let's get a little shameless promo out of the way. Where can everyone follow you guys on Bandcamp, social media, YouTube, all that good stuff?
Facebook.com/Atomic Werewolf. And the album it's everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Google Play, Pandora. What am I missing? But yeah, it's on Bandcamp. It's everywhere. YouTube, the album itself is on YouTube. It's everywhere it can be. Deezer, whatever that is. Yeah,
what the hell is that?
Deezer.
Did you make that up? It sounds made up.
No, it's a real thing. It's on iHeartRadio.
Okay, that I've heard of.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty much everywhere and anywhere. And if you want a physical copy, you'd have to probably go to the Bandcamp and pay way more than it's worth, because we just didn't get a lot made at all. There's only 200 CDs and 100 vinyl. That's it. That's all. Because we wanted to minimize what turned into be a headache, I guess.
You didn't want to have a garage full of CDs.
Yeah, that too.
Story.
Like I have Johnny B Morbid CDs that have been laying around for like 13 years.
Oh yeah, man. Every band I've ever been in, man. I know that story, bro. But guys, thank you so much for a few minutes. Continued success moving forward, and just stay safe and stay healthy, guys. Thank you so much for a few minutes.
Thanks Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Nice meeting you.
Have a good one.
Peace.